Ahoy! If you asked me to summarize the new things that we learned from yesterday's Gamescom Q&A for New World, it would sound something like this. Fortunately, some other more hidden places gave us a lot of new information. And they had a lot to say that we hadn't heard yet. They talked about conclusions from the last beta, plans for the next beta, what we can expect in terms of content, in terms of fixes, and also what we can expect from New World in the future, looking far ahead. We had 3 different sources, and the first 2 that we're going to talk about are MeinMMO.de, a German website that posted an article, and fortunately I happen to speak German, so I can translate that, and a multitude of posts on the Steam community by a user called Windsward. Windsward is labeled as a developer in the Steam community for New World. I'm not entirely sure if they're actually a developer, but it seems like they're working on the game in some capacity. Credits for finding this post go to Shayanat or Cheyenne40 on Reddit. The first thing we learned is that there won't be any new content for the next open beta. MeinMMO pointed out that there will only be bug fixes, and Windsward wrote that there will be critical server issue fixes and major bug fixes. MeinMMO asked about the character creator in the game, pointing out that the current options are fairly lackluster, something that had generally been criticized. To that, New World responded that there won't be any additional character customization on release, but they are working on more options for character customization after the release, which is very exciting. Hopefully once those make it into the game, we'll have the option to redesign our character as well, at least once, so maybe through a barbershop in town or something. When it comes to regions, languages and language servers as well as servers in general, we had a lot of information. According to MeinMMO, there will possibly be language flagged servers on release. Windsward, whose information is likely more up to date, responded, "We are working on language-suggested servers and will announce details prior to open beta." So based on that, it sounds very likely that at least bigger regions within Europe will get their own language-based servers. When it comes to server location, Windsward had multiple answers to different people, and the answers were not as simple. The first one was, the server team is reviewing the data and making decisions on where servers need to be for launch. Certainly a factor in that decision is player density for various global locations. The good news is beta provided a huge amount of data on global player hotspots. When we have a final server launch list, we shall share it. Another reply, I do not have any information on additional servers planned at launch. We do hear the feedback and have shared it with the folks planning our global server support. Also, we are collecting all the feedback paired with player location, and the server team is working on our launch server support plan. Definitely hear the ask, just wanted to point out that when folks ask for Russian or Chinese servers, that government participation or publishing deals with other companies may be required to operate a live game in those regions. It can be more complex than, say for example, adding a Chicago server. This may also explain why we haven't heard any news regarding a Southeast Asian server outside of, obviously, the Oceanic servers. When it comes to things that the team learned from the beta, Windsward says they had a lot of learnings about servers and server infrastructure, and the volume of tested helped surface a lot of these problems so they could address them. The open beta, as I predicted, is to test those implemented solutions prior to launch so that the launch goes smoothly. An issue that was brought up in the MeinMMO article is the balance between different factions, which a lot of people have been concerned with. New World stated that they are working on a solution for this, but that will be coming after release, not on release. When it comes to patch notes for the open beta, Windsward said those will be shared once the open beta begins. But again, there won't be any major content or feature changes between those patch notes and the final launch. Instead, the alpha and beta feedback will be shaping upcoming content, and there will be an announcement for a post-launch roadmap soon. And in that very same sense, the goal of the playtest is not to have a prolonged feedback-focused playtest, but rather a focus on density, servers, and the fixes. So it's not meant for people to massively experience the game once again, but just see if things are work out. And they're also happy to have people skip this particular playtest if they say they don't want to level again. They basically just need to have enough people to test the stability of everything and see if the fixes implemented actually work. Windsward also states, "We won't require any unique character setups, folks will just play as usual," which I'm assuming means that there will simply just be level 0, level 1 starts once again. Since they have already announced that they will also be running some additional player tests for some of the alpha players, I'm assuming those ones will be used to test some high level content. When it comes to the specific issue of lag in large-scale battles, they are obviously very aware of that and they are working on a solution. One user asked if there would be options to switch servers if you want to play with your friends or for crossplay at launch time, and to that Windsward said that that would not be the case at launch. When it comes to the planned release date, they are still on track for the September 28th release, and this test will just help them ensure the quality on that day so that they have a smooth launch once again. MineMMO reinforces this point, stating that the delay is meant to fix exploits and server issues. Now, while there is no new content planned on release, we have a bit of a better picture as to what we're getting after release. According to the MineMMO article, on one hand, there will be new expeditions, which is basically what was already announced. However, there will also be new PvP content. This wasn't stated publicly before, and my speculation here is that this may refer to the PvP arenas that were data mined a while ago. The article also mentions that we can expect add-ons in the future. It doesn't specify what these add-ons refer to, if this is DLC or if these are full-blown game add-ons. I would expect that we'll actually see full-blown game add-ons at some point, because the monetization model with a one-time purchase kind of lends itself towards making more purchases in the future in order to keep playing new content, so it makes perfect sense in my eyes. Especially when the base game price is only $40 US, which is below the normal AAA price. A very minor requested detail that Windsward talked about was the option to see withdrawal and deposit in a ledger for the company bank, which is something that is frequently requested, but it won't be in place for launch, so possibly after as well. A question that also came up once again was the option to have a PvP server. To that, Windsward said, "No, in open beta there will not be a PvP server." I don't have any information to share about new features or content, but we do see the request from folks for PvP servers. We don't have any plans for them at launch, and I don't have any info to share about post-launch plans. Now, while this almost sounds like Windsward is hinting at the potential for a PvP server, I wouldn't get my hopes up here, because the developers have been very clear in the past about the different requirements for a PvP server compared to a PvE/PvP server, so it didn't seem like that's the direction they want to go in, and yeah, I don't expect it for now at least. However, the same question also asked about incentives for PvP flagging on the current servers, so that would be more PvP going on. Windsward called that very valuable feedback, probably something they also had a lot, and they said that that is something they can address within the existing version of the game. According to Windsward, the servers in the open beta will not exactly reflect the launch server plan. So there may still be new servers coming, or there may be servers being removed after this open beta, I guess because they get additional data from this very beta about the player frequency in each area. Windsward once again confirmed that as announced in the Gamescom segment, there would be seasonal events coming in the future. Somebody asked if there would be options for custom roles in companies. To this, we got the response that Windsward doesn't have any info on new features or content to share, but can confirm this will not be in place for the open beta, which almost kind of sounds that it may be in place for release. Some people were interested in an early access download. Windsward responded, "Definitely hear the ask for early download access, and we'll work with the team to make it available early if possible. This is our first time using the new Steam testing tool, so we will learn with you as we go." And then one thing that was really crucial in my opinion was that there would be more balance before launch. So statement here was, balance is definitely ongoing, and you will continue to see balance tuning between now and launch. So we can expect that we'll get balance changes in the open beta, and then we'll get balance changes again before release, which isn't auto surprising, but that makes me very happy because even though they're not releasing new content, they're consistently going on with the balance part of things, which I think is very important. Now, after all this, there was a third source as well. There was a German interview at the Gamescom show today that I watched, and there was a little bit of additional information there. They once again confirmed that there would be tools to help faction balance, but those would be after release. They also talked about one thing that literally every New World Q&A has to talk about: mounts. The answer here was that no, there won't be mounts in the game in the foreseeable future, the reason being that the discovery aspect of the world gets lost. I will stay away from touching this topic because for some reason it's way too controversial. Well, they once again said that there would be no major changes before release and they would primarily be focused on server issues. They had something to say about endgame content. They also said that there would be a roadmap soon, and one important statement from the New World devs was the New World is an MMO, and as such they see it as a game as a service. If you're not familiar with that concept, that essentially means that the game is continuously updated with new content, as opposed to a game that is released and then finished basically and only gets minor patches. Now I have some more to say, but before I do, if you want to stay tuned for further news about New World as well as how the game works, then please consider subscribing and clicking the bell so you get notified of upcoming videos. We'll dive deeper into damage versus constitution as well as gems on weapons later this week, so there's a lot to learn here. Now what I want to say is that this all sounds extremely promising to me. I know the whole "a rushed game is forever bad" mentality has been beaten to death, that's nothing new anymore, but I do think that it's great when a developer focuses on solving issues, and even if that means taking 2 months of time just to fix bugs, in my opinion that is a good thing, so that they are focused on the quality of the final product, which means we'll have more players initially that enjoy the game and stick with the game instead of dropping off because they don't like the bugs or whatever, which is basically a lesson learned for them from Crucible. The big question is how quickly they can roll out new content, but with them already teasing new weapons and talking about holiday stuff and other features that they're planning to add, I am not too worried. We'll only know for sure once we know the roadmap and how well they can stick to it, but for the first month most people are probably going to be busy leveling anyways, and those who make it to the late game very quickly are going to be busy maxing their gear score, so there will be a fair bit to do. And on the topic of positive outlooks, I'd also like to thank you guys for your recent support. I've had so many nice comments, I've had so many people joining the New World Discord that I made, I'll link that down below if you want to join as well. I've had so many supportive comments even on Reddit, I've had so many people wanting to help me out with theory crafting, giving me additional information. It's been super nice. I know a lot of you have also been helping out, making my videos more seen to more people by sharing them or by rewatching the video to give it more watch time. You guys get an extra thank you that is very much appreciated. It helps me so much to make sure that I can kind of find my footing in New World. I'm feeling really good and really hopeful right now, and I hope you do too. Special shout out today also goes out to Zoe, who helped me set up the entire Discord and made it pretty. If I can finish it tomorrow, I will release the Constitution versus damage scaling video then, so those of you who've been waiting for that, that is coming soon. I hope I can finish it by then, otherwise it'll come a day after, or if all else fails, then 3 days later, who knows. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you for the next one soon. Duke Sloth, out.